of us going out there to get where we try not to be small groups or easily isolatable. What we do is we might have 5 journalists who are listening to
the freelance community by May, when this thing should be going. And so that, I think, is when we want to talk
freelancers. How is AFP dealing with freelancers?
My frustration and anger is at a boiling point, and it's only grown to see that in many cases it is not just armed militias and criminals carrying out crimes against journalists, but sometimes people who are working or employed on behalf of governments who are pledged and obligated under international law to protect journalists along with other civilians in conflict zones. Often these same governments will state that the arrest or harassment of journalists in their country has nothing to do with their work, but that strains credulity.
And so bloggers, we who are
and essentially what we have is we have a information sharing platform that all these security directors
every day in every part of the world, some journalist somewhere is being harassed or put in prison or injured, and we need to talk about this more openly and with less reluctance, because if we don't, no one will.
Both staff and freelance security, but is there any new approach that
just in conflict zones, but in fact pretty much everywhere around the world? So, thanks.
Somalia, Ethiopia, Rwanda. The locals, the local freelancers have to stay in country, and there has to be some sort of long-term care to actually look after them, because once that story is done and the story has moved elsewhere to another country, those local freelancers are going to be the ones that are going to be targeted and are going to be the governments are going to be on the lookout for them. I'm interested to know what could be done to kind of look after them for the long term.
Own safety, and what can the media industry do to help freelance panelists? First, Scott Griffin is here from the International.
I'm excited to be here because when our son was captured in Syria, we felt very alone as a family. Jim was fairly new to journalism, so he was connected to his group of journalists, but as a family, we, really did not receive much support.
Un periodista muy importante asesinado en Brasil que se llama Tim Lopes. Él estaba, o sea, que hay una política de empregar la represión para este tipo de casos, ¿no? Y la impunidad